Hello, I'm David Bianco. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. So, just when you thought everything had been said about the MoFi scandal, well, an article comes out today, August 5th, in the Washington Post of all places. There's more detail, and it's an interesting twist in a way, and we're going to talk about it next on the Sound of Safe and Sound, Texas. Thanks for coming back. So here we are. It's a very interesting, detailed article. I will have a link to it in the description so you can read it for yourself, of course. Uh, my take on it is there was certainly a lot more background information in this and some quotes from other people. But, in a macro sense, it really looks like, Mike Esposito, obviously from the In Groove, had gotten this from a source. I think there have been other people out there in the industry have been hearing a buzz about it, especially since the Michael Jackson Thriller 40,000 copy question came in. And so John Wood, I guess, is the guy that he talked to who basically said, come on down. And Mike did. And Mike got John to, on the car ride, I guess, admit, yeah, that's exactly what's going on, and then arranged the detailed interview. And at the same time, we had Jim Davis, who's the owner of Music Direct and MoFi, who got a bit blindsided about this, I guess, because Michael Fremer wrote him an email saying, how dare you have a plain old record store guy go and talk to you? You need a serious journalist like myself or someone else to do this. And in hindsight, given the way it all came down, the way you look at it, he may have been right from a professional way to do this, and it was very much an ad hoc kind of thing that got pulled off. To our credit, I think, because if I read it right, Jim Davis wanted to come down there and deal with it that morning because he really hadn't been in the loop, but he got stuck trying to get a car rental at the airport and didn't make it in time, and the interview was already done. So I don't know what his intentions were in terms of how it would have been exposed, but fate sometimes deals you a great hand. And so we are where we are. And, it was really factual in terms of the way this rolled out. And I think what it really tells me with a magnifying glass here is looking at this, they really were never really prepared for how they were going to deal with this. How were they ever going to come out with this? Uh, Flat-footed is the term I think of. The gang that couldn't shoot straight. I just these things come to mind, and I think, as I said before, this case will serve as a case study in marketing classes for generations to come, I think, on how to not do things from a marketing perspective, from a public relations perspective. And, it was good to kind of, this article to me was a little bit cleansing, kind of get all the raw stuff out, get it passed. They're doing what they're doing to give us information. People are going to react the way they're going to react in terms of either canceling pre-orders or never buying MoFi again, or just saying, hey, it sounds great and I don't really care. I'm still going to buy it. So I want to finish with that thought. And here's why. I have been reading people now for weeks, and it's getting louder, that are saying, hey, if the SACD sounds as good as the vinyl, hey, I'm going to ditch my vinyl. It's an expensive hobby. I can get the SACD for $30, and it sounds every bit as good as the vinyl. Why bother? And so I think I pointed this out in previous videos. This process with MoFi and what happened talks about what happens when it gets to the media being the CD, DVD, and or the vinyl. Once it gets to the media, what's the process to get to the media? Well, at the point that happens, we don't even have the product. Once we have the product and we go to play it, then our system takes over. And And that is where the magic happens to a large degree. Now, if you have a bad source, it won't sound great. There's no denying that. But when I compare the SACD of something to a one-step or even to a regular MoFi, the richness, the sound stage, the depth is always richer, always better. I'm a much more satisfied listener. Now, again, that's me. Why do we think that's the case? Well, everything, up to the point of it getting on the media is theory in the sense that it lays it down. Now your system has to actually play it. And the one advantage a vinyl solution has is the cartridge. The cartridge to me is the golden nugget in this whole reproduction. And the reason is it's a transducer. It and your speakers are transducers. And that transducer does some very magical, marvelous things that I can't even comprehend how it really happens, but it does. That vibration coming up through the stylus and the cantilever into the magnetic coils, or if you have a moving magnet, you have that. If you have an MC cartridge, you have a coil that's used. So it's just something that is different, and it creates a different sound. You could take different cartridges and you'll get a totally different sound out of those cartridges. If you really like it bright, you might buy an Audio-Technica. If you really like it flat, you really might buy a Nagaoka. If you like it really deep, you might find an audiophile is a better solution. These are all ways that we can calibrate and adjust the sound to match what we enjoy. And in that, the richness and the depth that comes out of that processing that goes from that cartridge into the preamp, into the amp to the speakers is different. It's much different. In the digital world, you have a DAC or a digital analog converter, and better DACs do better jobs. But at the end of the day, they don't quite have the resonance that you get with a vinyl. And that's just what I have experienced. So I tell people, try it out, see what you think. Is it worth the difference in price? That's a different discussion. You can only determine whether it is. For me, it is. It is. And again, this is a decision we all have to make. Doesn't change any of the facts around the fact that MoFi was misleading and that they probably need to make some adjustments potentially in the way they even charge for some of their products based on what they do. I just feel like, given where it's at and comparing it to others, maybe they're really on the high end, but at the same time, the sound is great. So again, it's all up to us to decide. I think there is a big difference with vinyl to my ears that makes it worthwhile. As far as MoFi goes, I'm sure they're feeling the sting of it. I was told by a representative from Music Direct that, if you're going to do any pre-order cancellations, you got to send an email, you got to reference the order number, you got to, so they're definitely wanting to make sure they have documented evidence of that, and they want to make it, I don't say as difficult as possible, but they're not going to just do it over the phone, I guess is all I'm saying. At least that's certainly what I experienced with Music Direct. And that's fine, that's fair, but that is going on. So read the article. Again, the link is down in the description. As always, if you would subscribe, I would appreciate it. And if you like the video, indicate so by clicking on that thumbs up, and a comment is always welcome. So until next time, thanks for watching The Sound of Safe and Sound Texas. Goodbye, everybody.